job. The leading cause of injury among women ages 15 to 45 is battering. So it's obviously a very important and significant topic for today's world, and that's why we're presenting this informational session.
We want to turn this into a positive mishap. My brother was a student council, guidance counselor at the Ashland Middle School. We want to send a message out to the community, to the students that he worked with, that drinking and driving do not mix. And this is our way of doing it.
Members of the Nowakowski family traveled from across the country to be in Superior today to attend the sentencing of Leon Burnett, and more importantly, to draw attention to the death of their brother Joe.
We want to make a statement for other people that may not be as strong as our family of 10 kids and my parents, so that they have a chance as well. So we want to make a statement for the other ones that are yet to happen.
It's not uncommon for families who have lost someone in alcohol-related accidents to join the fight against drinking and driving. What is uncommon is for a family to come together so soon after the accident and fight like the Nowakowskis have.
They decided after Joe was killed that they were going to fight the whole process. And they have gotten together, they've come together, and you know, in 10 years of working with the victims of drunk drivers, I've never found a family that worked as hard as this one has.
The family came to Superior today to help stop drunk driving, something they think their brother Joe might have done.
He started Students Against Drunk Driving. He started the Pledge program at Ashland Middle School. Joe would want us here. He made a difference. He volunteered so much in his life. This is the least we can do to represent our brother. He was only 39.
In Superior, Ted Rowlands, News 6.
And there I have no problem with it. I think when you start talking about upwards of a couple dozen apartments, I'm not so, and the similarity for...
A few blocks from where I live currently is one that's affordable. And I don't think a third world native would want to live in it. I mean, there's plastic.
Is that why we're hearing stories like this?
We'd say in our studies that have recently been completed, we estimate about 17% of the rental housing stock in the city is in substandard condition and in need of repair.
May I add something?
Sure.
So that you can keep this system where it's manageable. And usually what these operating procedures are, so you can see that the growth from what's happening, that is becoming a program. If you look at Wisconsin, it's about 14%. So there's already a fair amount of manufactured products that are going to other countries. And of course, the purpose of this conference is the education process to encourage other folks to look at exporting as a way to maybe increase their sales and expand their operations.
From Willard Erickson and Cronstrom, that was their corporation? Yes, sir. Okay.
No, but I seem to see these things happen. Opposed to it, and my gosh, the number of phone calls we've been receiving are just... Because he has a law degree and is a practicing attorney, he gets charged with the same thing that the rest of us might get charged with, but instead of facing the music, he has the opportunity to plea bargain down to a reckless or a careless driving. And it is terribly wrong, and I think particularly so, with a man in the position of Smedberg or...
Statewide office before,
and the name N145 is not exactly a household word.
Proposal of that nature?
I think we continue to feel optimistic about his own recovery as well as this race, and we've concluded that while we now have 2 campaigns to fight, we are committed to winning both of these. Well, at this point, the biggest challenge I face is simply getting my name better known to Minnesotans. I've never run for a statewide office before, and the name N145 is not exactly a household word, but I have a long record of accomplishment.
I think it'll be a major confrontation between the Democrats in the legislature and this Republican governor. We will be pushing for property tax relief, and I hope we can get him to move and see the need.
Record is green light. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's okay. We'll try that. Oh, this is smooth. Roll it. We're not going to use it. This was cool.
Flag over here. Right there. Okay. Let me. Yeah. Can I call it on camera? We'll put it together. No, right?
We had to put them on the rope, just to keep them in, like a leash. They like to run around a little bit.
Now, how many pounds is this one?
Have you weighed
Probably
it
about
yet?
4.5, 5 pounds.
4.5 or 5 pounds?
Yeah.
Does that come anywhere near qualifying to be able to...
We go register.
Yes.
We'll go register them first, and then, hey, I've been coming down here 4 years, and this is the first year I caught one, and that made my day. Made
Aren't
the
they
whole
beautiful?
thing.
Aren't they beautiful? That is a beautiful fish.
Well, look at that big pot belly. What do you think people do down here? You know, I got one. I got one that looks like that.
Well, how do you think it got the name as being the...
Heck, you know how many days I had to freeze my little tush off for this? 4 years now.
Yeah.
I finally caught one, and I'm happy.
Looks like it's frozen.
No, he's just getting ready to climb up his arm.
Oh.
They like to curl on, real friendly, real friendly.
They don't bite.
About Walker and the surrounding communities, they make big money.
God, I hope this shit's thick. Pardon my French, but I just can't help but think this is gonna be it. This is the end.
Rolling? Let me get your name if I can. What's your first name?
Josh.
Josh, last name?
Stewart.
Stewart. Where do you live?
Staples.
Staples. How far is that from here?
About 65 miles.
65 miles. You came 65 miles to come sell sandwiches?
Yeah.
How's business?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Do you do this every year?
No, this is first year.
Is this what you expected? Was business as good as you expected?
Yeah.
How many sandwiches have you sold so far?
About 50.
About 50. What's with the helicopters? Any idea?
They're having helicopter rides.
Oh, they're giving. Is your setup?
No.
No, we always do good up here at the Airport Festival. It's a really nice group of people. It's a fun time. We do a lot of snowmobile races, but we always work the Airport Festival in just because it's really good. People love the hats. Everybody's wearing the hats,
right.
And we like to see fur on people.
Oh, you can't see them there.
Yep, sure is. He caught that one about 2 a.m. this morning.
Froze my ass, too.
Yep, this morning. Froze my
because very frankly, you need to invite them to your
genuine the feeling for children is. To want to try and increase parental
problems, and it's going to compound, and it's going to take 10 years after this gets removed.
How much do you pay for the University of Wisconsin Superior? You don't know. But people know what their property tax bill is. And what do they do with the anger when they get that property tax bill? They blame it on those darn teachers in that school district. And that's the kind
No, that's it. I won't use it. It's,
Okay.
It's Zenith Acres?
Zenith Terrace.
Terrace?
Who's at all the PTA meetings? Who's leading all the Girl Scout meetings? Who's
Felt maybe violence, the uprising and violence in our nation has come from a lack of community, that we've lost that sense of knowing who our neighbors are, getting together with neighbors on a regular basis, knowing who our neighbors' kids are.
And we can say to the public that we will not make any general tax increase in 1995 or in 1996.
We're here to give the public a chance to meet the police and get to know them as maybe a friend and a person instead of just maybe a uniform.
We don't have all our stuff out.
This is just another example of the kind of effort that the Sam Brown and the mayor have been making to tell Duluthians that their vote doesn't count. But the fact of the matter is that this agreement has so many loopholes in it, you could drive an outlet mall through it.
I appreciate the support that labor
Like to vote to go.
to the beauty of the city and the location that we're able to locate this mall has been the standard for seasonal shipping. You have a gorgeous area there that would be nice to walk and stroll along, a nice green park, and be able to watch the big ore boats come up to the site, make a right angle turn and go under that bridge. And people can do that if you have a public park right down on the water.
We've been talking about the effects of various types of pollution on fish and fish food organisms. We have to look at the whole ecosystem as it's being affected by pollutants in the environment. One of the things that I tried to do in our
Right here in this Duluth Job Service office, just a quick scan of our active files tells us that we have 1,500 individuals with 4-year degrees or more.
I think there are very few, if you want to classify jobs, that we don't have qualified applicants for.
These petitions are being circulated by the Affordable Housing Committee, a nonprofit organization. It reflects a large group of residents who support Lakeside Elementary School becoming an affordable housing project.
The HRA has a waiting list of over 1,200 families that desperately need affordable housing. We have so many people in our city who pay well over 50% of their income for housing.
There's another petition circulating around town by those who oppose the idea of turning Lakeside into an apartment building.
Well, I'd like to see it remain a school because if they turn it into apartments, they're going to have 3 times as many people on that side of the street as they have on this side, and they're going to have a bunch of cars there.
School board member Brad Bennett says outside schools are financial competition to the district.
This is competition in the greatest form. They don't pay their teachers anywhere near what we have to pay ours by union rules and by union contract.
As more evidence that this is a highly sensitive issue, we also heard from those who support turning Lakeside into an apartment building. They also claim that the media is guilty of unbalanced reporting.
I'd like it to make it affordable housing.
Denise Hansen lives about 6 blocks south of Lakeside. She's also a landlord. She says a majority of Lakeside residents support the apartment plan.
I've got families, I've got friends out in Lakeside, I live out in Lakeside, and it's surprising at the amount of people that really want Lakeside School to go through as apartments.
Petitions from both sides will be submitted to the school board before they vote on the issue next Tuesday. The board has been reviewing purchase bids this past week. In Duluth, Chip Wallace, News 6.
Profession of law enforcement. I do. Thank you and congratulations.
Well, it's something to be very proud of. I'm a 3rd-generation police officer.
It's been a long road to get here.
You looking forward to it, though?
Yeah, really looking forward to getting out there.
We, as a Duluth Police Department, appreciate wholeheartedly your attendance today. Thank you. See? Wife Kimberly, we're now realizing a lifelong dream of returning back to the Duluth area. Sean likes to hunt, likes to run. You can see he's one of the thinnest of the Waller. He and his wife, Patricia. Patricia is...
Last year in Minnesota alone, 113 workers were died either from on-the-job injury or from illnesses that they've contracted from their work. And every week in Minnesota, 2 more workers die.
I have no idea.
Not quite.
2 summers ago, the resorts and many of the guides in the Northwest Angle were caught in a federal sting. Indictments were handed down last week, including over 60 counts of game and fish violations. But resorters say many of the charges stem from minor violations of vaguely written...
That hot turkey is very close. Well done.
I just hope that people realize that these kind of things are going on other than just Indian Awareness Month, you know, to pay attention to the cultural things that Indian people have to offer all year round and not just Indian Awareness Month.
The record was made by Wisconsin Parkside. They made the 750 feet, so we had to come back this year and break that, and we broke it pretty bad. I think 1,100 feet.
You know, we should take a couple of these pieces and like tape them up onto the pole. Start going that way. Yeah, we can just.
Okay, folks, ready? Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. Somebody take this thing.
And so a building was planned that would improve some space for the music department, that would improve some space for the College of Education, that would improve some space for some instructionally related activities like continuing ed. Not get in trouble with entertaining, as the section of the article about Willard's environmental activities was with regard to his something serious that I thought was highly characteristic and very important, and in fact quite related to
We have a board that's dictatorial in nature, and we have opportunities that are not equal for all students in the district.
When you squeeze the life out of a country's economy, people die of starvation, of disease. Monday was no different. After 2 years of economic sanctions, severe malnutrition in Haiti is believed to be at its highest level in recent years. Better than 2/3 of the population is unemployed. The oil embargo has pushed the price of gasoline to about $8 a gallon, and higher transportation costs make everything else more expensive. A sack of rice trucked in from the countryside has tripled in price. So too is the cost of a crosstown bus fare. Human rights monitors believe that even the latest wave of political violence is attributable in part to the trade sanctions. Because as life becomes more desperate and discontent grows, Haiti's military rulers are forced to tighten their grip on power to keep the populace in check.
Anything in the EIS changed your, made you come up with a decision about to be for the NSP list?
It exists for jobs. As you look at the bills that passed the Minnesota House of Representatives and the Minnesota Senate, certainly they are too spendy. The spenders were in control, and somebody needs to speak for the taxpayers of the state of Minnesota. That there's lots of good ideas, but we simply can't afford every good idea that exists. Either we would have had to raise taxes or not keep faith with our promises. One of the two would have had to occur. Governor Carlson's vetoes will make sure that the taxes do not have to be increased upon the citizens of the state. In our sister city of Superior, just across the border, we look at a competition, put ourselves at a disadvantage for jobs. There's absolutely no doubt how much more mandated costs government can impose upon jobs within our state or within any country. I know we have a petition that exists for jobs. As you probably know, Wisconsin's minimum
Changed your, made you come up with a decision about to be for the NSP waste storage?
Okay. I think in the, first of all, the EIS and Department of Health Studies, both of them together, the environmental impact statement.
Stand right here by the back of this car. Fort Worth, Texas has more than 200 juvenile gangs, 4,000 juvenile gang members, and they are violent. Drive-by shootings are common. To combat the gang problem, the city council has voted to hire 6 street gang leaders, put them on the city payroll at $5 an hour, $10,000 a year. It's the police chief's idea.
But I don't think we have a great deal to lose, and I think we have a whole lot to gain.
This city has tried other innovations to fight gang violence, such as allowing gang leaders in jail to broadcast pleas for a ceasefire in the gang wars. But plans for the city to hire gang leaders to mediate gang disputes is running into a lot of public opposition.
I believe a lot of the concerned citizens that I've talked to, they would be shocked to know that we would be making deals with what could be considered terrorists.
We want to know what you think. Should Fort Worth be hiring gang members as counselors?
I think it's lunacy. It creates the image that crime pays.
City officials insist the gang leaders would not be paid with tax money. Rather, their salaries would come from money raised by the sale of assets confiscated by the police. But many taxpayers still believe it's a mistake. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
Two years of task force meetings on border fishing resulted in severe restrictions on American fishing in Canadian water and a retaliatory ban on importing Canadian into Minnesota. Officials from both countries are hoping to start over. An initial meeting between the Minnesota DNR and the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources has produced a promise to talk some more. At issue is Canadian charges of overharvesting walleye in border lakes, as well as a feeling American resorts have an unfair advantage. Ontario would like to see more tourists staying on the Canadian side, spending their money at Canadian resorts.
From 3 o'clock today till 10 o'clock tonight is the big push. After 10 o'clock, it just sort of slows down, then it'll pick up at daylight again.
It's kind of it's set like this, but it has an angle pointing out to the highway. Yeah. And then you get late.
Well, the aim is to for recycling aluminum and plastic and glass and newspapers and brown paper bags and so on. Cut down on
on what it costs us to dispose of garbage and also to help save the ecology.
Opening weekend has always been big in the Northland, with everyone from anglers to business owners getting excited about it.
This has been a real good opener for us. We had a real strong Friday night. Yesterday with the rain, we were very steady all day. It's been a good opener.
Campground went far beyond my expectations. It's really coming along fine, and a lot of our old friends come back up here, and everybody's having a good time, and the weather's looking good now, and everybody's got cabin fever.
To anglers, the weather was a factor in going out on the lakes, but if you could handle the rain, you probably were all right.
Well, the weekend was a little bit rainy and wet and cold and windy, but I think the people responded real well, and everything went good.
And when it comes to actually being able to catch a fish, well, that's a different story.
I think generally, all spoken, everybody should have done fairly well, if they were fishing right.
Chalstrom's bait said people were coming through with their limits, and they even had a picture of a 7-pound walleye.
Even with the rain, there was a lot of people that weathered the storm. Well, I mean, shouldn't say weathered the storm. It was a lot warmer than we expected with the rain, so they dressed for it, and there was a lot of fish caught.
Bridge Campground said people were getting their limit, and High Banks Resort even reported someone catching a 16-pound northern on Fish Lake. Near Duluth, Duke Scorich, News 6.
Five pounds of fat burns only 10 calories a day, but 5 pounds of muscle burns about 400. And that, according to experts, is the key to permanent weight loss.
The secret to weight loss is strength training. Everything is intensity anymore. It's not dieting. Usually when you diet, you lose lean mass or muscle mass, and your metabolism slows down.
That's what happened to David Thomas, an unsuccessful dieter for 10 years, until he revved up his metabolism with weight training.
Oh, I definitely started, feeling my pant sizes get smaller and smaller. My old clothes wouldn't fit it, were just baggy, they'd fall off.
Jane Prophet lost some weight following a careful diet and aerobic exercise program, but she too found the real secret.
Because I was stuck. I was stuck with my dieting and exercising. And the weight training is what has brought the last few inches and pounds off.
The reason? Yo-yo dieting causes a loss of muscle tissue and an increase in total body fat, which means a lower metabolism. But if you perform resistance exercises for just 30 minutes 3 times a week, in about 3 to 6 months, you will have lost fat pounds and gained about 5 pounds of metabolically active muscle. According to researchers, this doesn't mean you should abandon fat and calorie counting or heart-strengthening aerobic exercise. However, to permanently increase your body's calorie-burning ability, you'll need to spend less time pumping the pedals and a little more time pumping iron. Dr. Kim Crawford for NBC News.
We've talked a lot about working families and issues that are important to all working families. How can government lend a helping hand instead of an intruding hand? How can we help folks up the ladder instead of pushing them down all the time?
All in all, the spring has been above average, I would say, but this last week, 2 weeks has hurt us. But still, I think things are going real good out there.
Were there any unanticipated?
First marathon ever. This is the carbohydrate meal. We're gonna rock and roll. Hey, Sue.
We're offering people that were interested that have been in contact with recruiters and like to know a little more about the Navy before they make any kind of major commitment. We give them an opportunity to see the Navy underway.
Well, one of my big concerns, and one of the things that I've worked at as executive director of the Small City Association, is ending the dependence on property taxes, especially when it comes to education. I think anytime we start pushing the taxes off onto local units of government, particularly schools, it puts a real burden on low and moderate income people, on our business people, small business people particularly, and
The two sides have been told a new contract must be in place before any consideration will be given to a plant reopening. The contract will replace the one that expired last August. While talks on a new labor pact continue, union and management teams are out meeting with national stakeholders. The Burlington Northern, Minnesota Power, and the state of Minnesota must be convinced the plant can profitably operate. Union members on the range realize any reopening would be accomplished with fewer workers, but that doesn't downplay the plant's economic impact.
It not only affects the 614 workers from 2660, but a number of other suppliers, and I have seen some numbers of 716 workers, but I'm sure it goes into thousands when we take into consideration the restaurant owners, the department stores, all the service industries that we use.
Word out of Pittsburgh late this afternoon was that the labor management meetings would continue again tomorrow. Good news for the residents of Keewatin and the range who have faced the past 10 months with the uncertainty of National Steel ever reopening.
Oh, I believe that it'll help a lot up here. There's not a whole lot going on in this area up here, up north. And I think it's, means a lot. Having the mines open back up.
So tonight, residents and former workers have new hope that the plant could be operating before the end of the year. In Keewatin, Derek Hines, News 6.
Led to the agreement was the company and union coming together and both sides being determined that they were going to reach an agreement, that we were going to meet until the job was done.
The federal government has charged William Del Zotto with failing to report more than $3 million in income from his Duluth and Florida businesses between 1985 and 1989. Del Zotto's secretary has pleaded guilty to lesser charges in return for testimony and a probation sentence. Now the IRS is interested in Del Zotto's actions following a triple homicide in Duluth August 1st of last year. Longtime friend Dwayne Radulovich shot and killed 3 people at this Duluth home before taking his own life in his Hermantown apartment building. Del Zotto crossed the police lines the next day and was discovered inside the apartment. He says he didn't remove anything, but now there's information that he may have taken quite a bit. IRS agents believe Del Zotto took gold and silver coins and was about to ship them to Florida when an informant tipped off authorities. Federal documents also intimate that Radulovich had opened bank accounts to hide other Del Zotto money. With defense counsel delays, it could be a year or more before the entire story of the Del Zotto-Radulovich connection is understood. In Duluth, Derek Hines, News 6.
There are no pledges, no promises, but the hope is that we can start the process of getting the plant reopened in September of this year.
At first light, investigators and officials got a clear look at the crash site.
The scene looks very much like a major tornado path. There's a swath through the woods, broken trees, lots of debris.
These pictures, taken by an amateur photographer, show the grim, devastating impact of the crash. Investigators have recovered the voice and flight data recorders from the wreckage, the so-called black boxes. They may help confirm exactly why the pilot attempted to abort the landing as he approached the airport.
It is not unusual if the pilot, for any reason, is uncomfortable with the approach.
As the methodical investigation continues, grieving anxious relatives and friends of those who perished and those still missing were at a Charlotte hotel waiting for answers.
We didn't find out until 9 o'clock at night or 10. That's when we first heard about it. It took us till midnight to find out they're even on that flight.
Roger and Inga Hamilton's daughter, Rita, is one of those presumed dead. She was married the day before the crash. She and her husband were heading for their honeymoon.
She was married for 5 hours.
Mickey Carpenter is a close friend of Terry Price and Jody Phillips, another young couple engaged days ago and listed as missing in the crash and presumed dead.
So we still have hope, until we hear something definite, but we haven't heard anything.
U.S. Air says Flight 1016 had undergone a full maintenance inspection in June and was found to be in proper working order. As the plane went down on its fatal approach to Charlotte Douglas, wreckage was strewn over an area the size of a football field.
I don't know why I'm here. So when I got up, everything around me there was nobody. Everybody was either buried or not there.
The Charlotte Douglas Airport is equipped with a kind of ground-level equipment that can detect wind shear and microbursts, those sudden crosswinds and downdrafts that can cause a plane to crash. We spoke with the FAA in Atlanta this evening. They said that the equipment was functioning and would have recorded what was going on exactly at the time that Flight 1016 went down. However, they will not say at this point, still will not say, whether weather was a factor in this crash. In Charlotte, Tom Donovan reporting. Back to you.
Very creative. Slips it into Dooley. The shot saved by Taffarel as Wallace was coming in to the middle of the goal.
Make the cameraman sit down, right?
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Oh, God.
And I'll
Do that. Okay. Thank you very much, Frank. Is there any questions that anybody has?